Hey there, it's Mark Drager, and today we are talking about the 2022 forecast and trends in the retail environment. I am lucky enough to be joined with Bud Morris. He's the founder and president of Canada's Best Store, Fixtures. Bud, how you doing today?
I'm very good. I'm lucky enough to be here in the host of my friend, Mr. Drager.
Well, listen, we circled around on a conversation last February where we were able to deep dive on some of the most amazing projects you've been a part of over the last 20, 30 years. I hate to say 30 years, but for the amount of time that you've been in the retail environment. So for those who are listening or viewing, if you've not seen that episode, go back and check that out. But today we're talking about 2022 forecasts and trends. Now, nobody has a crystal ball. No one, I mean, if they did, they would have bought Skype stock, and GoToMeeting stock, and yeah, exactly, and all that stuff going back a few years now. But we know that retail for over a decade now has been in transition. It seems like it's always in transition from something. First, there's online competitors that are coming in, and then there's the reduction in people wanting to go out, and then there's this pesky pandemic that we've had, But 2021 was better than 2020, but still kind of up and down. I mean, what were some of the big things that you saw this year that you guys have been managing on the retail fixture, the retail environment design side for the people who build out retail stores?
We look at the retail sector we have to break it down geographically because retail in the world, retail in Europe, retail in North America, retail in the US, retail in Canada are all very different things. So, I think the one thing that is, the big factor and the pandemic just pushed it along is this sort of age of shopping online and the perceived lack of a need for bricks and mortar, or this sort of doom and gloom that bricks and mortar is going by the way of the dodo. And it's interesting times because, you have your bricks and mortar retailers are scared to death of the sort of the Amazons of the world coming in and eating their lunch. And then Amazon goes and starts building brick and mortar and just kind of turn the world upside down. And everybody's on scratching their head going, okay, so what's happening here? But it seems like a lot of the successful online brands are making brick and mortar a part of their strategy. And I think that's honestly the way retail is moving forward. It needs to be a two-headed strategy because there's quite honestly, there's people that like the experience of going to a place and shopping and immediate gratification, impulse buys, all of that stuff. Where a few years ago, there would be a lot of people that would tell you that's all going away and there will be no more brick and mortar retail. I think that popular opinion has shifted away from that. And I think there is a place for brick and mortar. It certainly is different than it looked. This is not your parents' brick and mortar. This is, this is a different version. It's a lot more interactive. It has an element of online. It's, buy online, pick up in store, curbside pickup. It's all of that stuff. And we've seen some great technologies get implemented very recently. We've got one in Canadian Tire. If you can imagine, you walk into the store and you go to ready to assemble furniture and you look at the display and there's a cabinet there and you want that cabinet, but, probably not excited about having to carry that cabinet out to your vehicle. The software now, you open up the app on your phone and you scan the barcode and you can purchase the product right at the display. And then you have a choice. You can have that item sent out to the parking lot to your vehicle and put in your vehicle. You can pick it up at the front desk, at the customer service desk, or you can have it shipped to your home. So the experience is live and online all at once, and it's extremely convenient. So those kinds of things, that kind of forward thinking, I think is what we're in for in the near future, and I think in the long future as well.
I love it. There's a lot to parse out there. So I think we can break that down step
Yeah.
by step. But I mean, first, the first thought I have is that I think over the last decade, most retailers have felt like that there were fewer and fewer people, of course, for foot traffic coming into the stores. But in-store sales still, if it's on demand, the way that I shop is like, I need a pair of shoes. I'm going to go buy a pair of shoes. I buy a pair of shoes.
Right.
The way my wife shops, she looks around quite a bit. She goes in, she looks around, she browses. There's impulse buying, as you said. And discovery is something that, while online is doing better, discovery is still really hard when you can't feel it, you can't try it on, you can't taste it, you can't touch it, whatever it might be. And so perhaps what we're actually moving towards is, rather than retailers, brick and mortar retailers aiming to be more online, or online retailers aiming to have a brick and mortar location for marketing reasons or for PR reasons or whatever it is, it's actually the migration of both of these things together, away from omni-channel, away from one, away from the other, to more of this hybrid model. I'm really excited about this possibility. But when you're speaking to retailers, what are some of the things that what are some of the things that are really worrying about them about this new move that we're moving to integrate technology into the brick and mortar experience?
It becomes about time now, right? So if I want that thing, when can I have it? If you and I shop very similar, I want it, and I want it now. I decided 3 minutes ago that I wanted it. Now I want it right now. I'm not going to.
I bought a new phone this morning. I bought a brand new phone this morning. Literally, I made that decision, and within 6 minutes, it's being shipped to me.
I bought a mouse last Monday. I bought it in the morning, and it was here by the afternoon. So to that point, this is what it's about, right? It's how fast can you get things delivered. Now, there's a lot of, drone technology is something that there's a lot of hype around, and I think we'll get there sometime, but there's something that's a little, I used to fly planes, so there's something a little scary about having all these little helicopters buzzing around, but time is of the essence. So geography means everything. So now you have all these brick and mortar locations. It's more about the logistics and how to get, product from point A to your home as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And we found that the retailers with geographical hotspots, their supply chain is way more efficient, and they can get things to their clients faster, which is what seems to be all about now, is speed to market, right? So a brick and mortar has a real need. There's a necessity for it out there, and it's dual purpose. It's a showroom, but it's also a distribution center that can get my product, my mouse, to me within hours of me buying it online without me having to leave my seat.
And the data supports that. We actually here at our company, we had some insight commissioned, and we were looking at people in the age groups of 30 to 40 and 40 to 50 years old. So two different age groups, right? The older millennials and the younger Gen X. And we were looking at the purchasing decisions that went into it. And it was interesting because if you're below 40, what people most wanted was time-saving, innovative, and exciting. If you're over 40, they wanted it to be familiar, trustworthy, and time-saving. So it's quite interesting, though, because as you look at these different generations and age groups, time-saving is for both of them. And so we want to be efficient. We want to be able to have things in few clicks. I think Amazon One Click has proven that. But where I'm going with this on the retail and the bricks and mortar side is what can retailers be doing aside from investing in technology, looking at omni-channel, looking at these things, which is a huge component of it. But what can we be doing to be making our stores ready? We have these footprints, we have these environments, we can turn them into anything we want, it seems, in this new world. We can break a lot of rules. So what should we be doing, and what should we be thinking about over the next few quarters or even few years to be ready for this new hybrid experience?
So software and all of the elements wrapped around an efficient and effective software offering is what is going to differentiate retailers. When we think about Some of our partners, Cassie, and their buy online, pick up in store elements tied into the software, ties into the POS, and retailers can come to Canada's Best Store Fixtures and they can have the implementation, the installation, the fixture layout, design altered to house this new requirement for online, pick up in store, curbside. Our team is spinning in all of those circles, and like we always have, we want to be a single source solution to our clients. So you're introducing these new requirements into your retail space. You need to move things around. You need to redesign. You need to relay out. You need to re-merchandise. You probably need to build some structure around it, and we have the wherewithal.
Do you think buy online, pick up in stores is something that's going to stick around, or do you think that was a bit of a blow?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's not going to be like the tidal wave that brought the pandemic brought, but it's part of the offering that is absolutely going to stick around 100%. I mean, we've seen, Canadian Tire is a great example. They are using it a lot. They've pushed all in on it. So
let's look at this for a second, though. So the pandemic hit. We were all forced during different lockdowns to be able to go, buy online, pick up in store. We've seen it reduced as the world opened back up. People are back into store. They're shopping. They're online and getting things delivered. Yep. The reason I'm surprised that buy online, pick up in store will still be a thing is it seemed like something that people were pushed into, as opposed to something that consumers were like, "Oh, thank goodness it's here." Now, if I put in an order to the local home the home renovation store, I don't want to walk around and pick all of that stuff. I love the fact that I could wait 2 days and then it just gets walked out to my vehicle. But I have to believe that if retailers just wholesale decide to stop offering it, that it doesn't matter how much consumers like it. It won't happen anymore. So that's why I was a bit surprised that people will still maintain it. What is Canadian Tire doing to make it worth the investment in time and energy to be able to maintain now online and in store and buy online, pick up in store?
Well, it's about efficiency, right? Delivering the product as efficiently as you can to the end user. And quite honestly, if a retailer doesn't have to take a case of goods off a truck, unpack it, put it on a shelf, remove it from the shelf. I mean, buy online, pick up in store removes a step, right? So now retailers are thinking more about logistics and do I have to put it on a shelf, or can I just bring it in case lots, put it into my warehouse, have it there ready to, pick and pack as an order now. Because that's really what it broke down to, and it was really funny. It sort of changed your way of thinking, right? When everything was, nobody could go into a store, so retailers are all of a sudden they're picking orders for people, but there's a lot of labor in somebody going and picking stuff off of a shelf themselves versus you having to, as a retailer now, having to provide that service. Your overhead just went through the roof. It was and with the pandemic, it happened overnight. So really forced retailers in general to really think about the total logistics of a shopping experience. I mean, totally from the factory, offloading the container, breaking out and shipping to store. Our friends at Cassie and Lozier, we're looking at back rooms and redesigning back rooms and points of receipt at retailers. They haven't looked at the back of house for a long, long time. They just know that there's labor there. A truck pulls up and people just start unloading it. Well, we've got hardware and software now that scans product, weighs product as it's coming off, puts it into your inventory, into your POS system directly off the back of the truck, sorts product by departments, whether it's going to your BOPIS section of the store or whether it's going to your retail floor, just making all of those elements so much more efficient than they ever were. And it's amazing, actually. I look at it and I say, well, it seems like a pretty simple solution, but it's transforming retailers. Their back of house has been a disaster for a long, long time. And it's things that retailers are going to have to do to stay efficient and stay ahead of the game. The big time, highly efficient distribution centers to the retailers world, there's a lot of low hanging fruit there. I mean, really simple steps, really simple products that can be put into place and just transform a retail operation to something far more efficient and cost effective than it was prior to. So
that is really cool, because it seems now we're at the breaking point or the tipping point where smaller retailers or retailers with smaller footprints can start to bring in some of the same automation that Amazon would use with robots for picking or things like that. So that way you could have a smaller footprint, you could bring in this automation, you could reduce the number of people in the back end, you can increase, I suppose, accuracy. So you're not giving. I mean, I can't tell you how many wrong plumbing parts I've had in my life from someone picking it for me. But then I guess this also opens up the door for retailers to start looking at like blackout locations or ghost locations or whatever they might be, because if it's being picked up somewhere. I mean, I'm old enough to remember consumer distributing. I'm not sure if you were.
I am as well.
Well, you're older than me, so you should be. But my goodness, we're this is the year-end wrap-up for 2021, so we're coming upon Christmas. But as a boy, I used to flip through that catalog and just circle all the things that I wanted. But it wasn't such a big deal to walk up to a window, say I want this, and they brought it to you. So it seems like the things that were old are new again, that they're coming back here. But as we look to 2022, so as we look to next year, where are the areas that you see different retailers of different sizes investing in? What are they focused on? Because you're uniquely positioned. You can kind of take a temperature check as what's happening because people are bringing you their programs months before they're launched. So without revealing confidentiality, what are people doing? Where are they investing? What are they looking to for 2022?
So I can't leave that consumer distributor, because I was thinking about that.
Yes,
last
you're
week.
old.
You know how many boardrooms? Yeah, but you know how many boardrooms I've sat in over the past 5 years plus, and had these kinds of conversations of like consumers distributing is coming back, and that model is coming back, or a version of it is coming back. And I was sitting last week, I think, we've had so many conversations about it, but nobody's done it yet. Nobody's actually pulled it off yet. And I liked going to consumers distributing into that little, sort of front of warehouse space where they had all those catalogs and start flipping through them. I thought that was pretty cool. And, I Best Buy is probably the closest one.
Cannabis, man. Cannabis is doing that, right? I mean, you go in, you speak with people, they have a list on their little tablet, and then they go to the back room, the magical back room, and they come out with stuff. It's got to be the closest experience to that, no?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, absolutely. There's people there that are knowledgeable that you can, and to the point earlier, right? The technology, the software. If the software is good, it's well done. You can use a tablet, a desktop, whatever, to tell a story, to educate someone so much more than you've ever been able to, and rely on the information to be correct. Again, how many times you go into, talk to a teenager in a store, ask a question, get a blank stare back, or get an answer that is wrong. So you just kind of move along. But now, with the software and the tools available to retailers, you can tell the right story. And it's all sort of at your fingertips. And here's all your options, and here's what it's good for, and here's what it's not good for. And it's a much higher level of a shopping experience, done right. done right.
So back to the question of 2022, you have, again, a unique position where you can kind of get a sense of where people are investing, what they're looking at, where they're skittish about, where they're feeling bullish. So what do you see? What's happening for next year?
It's a confusing year. 2022 will be a confusing year.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's interesting times right now, right? It's obviously, I mean, grocery, pharmacy is, and quick serve food are all on fire. I think grocery and pharmacy is at a place right now. There's a ton of, for us anyways, there's a ton of independents popping up. We have retailers that are focused on small store offerings and bringing it down in scale. And we have retailers that are going polar opposite and building massive super centers. And those ones are more focused on, our earlier point where we were talking about distribution centers, right? So they're building massive retail locations.
What would be considered massive? Like, are we talking over 60, 70, 80,000 square feet?
Yeah,
like,
I'm talking
what do you mean
200,000 square feet. Yeah.
Really?
In major centers, geographically ideal locations for distribution is the number one point. Obviously, they have to have enough head counts in the area to be able to, make the shopping experience worthwhile. But, Toronto, Calgary, Windsor, Edmonton are locations that will support these massive retail implementations that are, polar opposite to what a lot of people are thinking, downsizing and they're going in the opposite direction. And when you think about, the Amazons of the world, that's what they are. They're great big distribution centers in the right spots to be able to efficiently distribute products, right? And if you're going to be a retailer, you got to be able to be good at both of those things.
The large side is really surprising that people are looking at 200,000 plus square foot spaces, but the move to smaller locations is something that's been in the works for a long time. I know you've done.
Sure.
I mean, I can remember back to years ago where you were running prototype stores for different large national retailers, trying to take 60,000 square feet to 35, trying to take 35 to 18, trying to get down to 8,000 square feet. And we've seen this move amongst, especially the restaurant industry, to move from sit down, dine in to more takeout QSR style stuff. But who is downsizing? And the rationale makes sense, smaller footprint, right? But you're still known for a certain quantity of stock and merchandise. So who's doing this, and how are they leveraging this smaller footprint?
Well, Starbucks is classic, right? I mean, Starbucks has been a client of ours now. Of mine for, I hate giving these numbers out, but anyways, it's something like 25 years now.
Yes, you're old.
Right.
25 years.
Yeah. So, I remember Howard Schultz, we were talking about drive-throughs, and Howard Schultz would, he would, not a chance is he putting a drive-through location at Starbucks. There's just no way. For the right reasons, environmentally, and the experience and all of those things. Now, it's the only thing that they're building is drive-through locations, and it's and they wanted people to come into the store and hang out, linger, and have the whole coffee experience. Now, to your point, square footage is everything, and we want to make this thing as small and efficient as possible. So, a little footprint with a drive-through or two on either side is that's what I think everybody wants to do, but including Starbucks. That's where they want to move forward.
And so, is it for Starbucks, let's say, is this the end of the third space of the hangout location, or it's just everybody's in limbo, so they're just making the most of the time that they have now, and if we got to change back in 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, then they'll just change back again?
Yeah, I think it's the current iteration.
So people aren't getting, so in this current climate, it seems like like retailers are getting just really operational. Like they're getting really
100%.
focused on what works now, and they're not getting caught up in the philosophical of how things should be. It's like, what can we do right now?
Yeah, I would say operational is a great word, and that's where we have more conversations now. I mean, you talk about Starbucks, how many steps is involved in brewing a coffee or a cappuccino, but how many steps, literally how many footsteps and how many steps in the process, and bringing that all down. But that's across every retailer. Everyone's thinking that way, and it's fascinating. It's good. It's cool, and we love being involved in those conversations because it's about design and layout and talking through and furniture and ergonomics and all of that stuff that makes our retailers successful. The entire process and things that I think most people don't think about on a normal basis. But you have to, as a retailer in today's world, you have to be as efficient as possible. And it's sort of, and then the next step or the next natural phase is building a destination and building it a place that people want to go and spend time and spend money and get what they desire.
So to close things out, as we look from 2021 to 2022 and beyond, for you, what are the staple elements that no matter how much you're focused on efficiency or technology or, hybrid, omni-channel or whatever it is, what are the things that retailers need to get right over the next few months to set them up for success?
Yeah, it's diversity and it's operational efficiency. It's those things, and that is what we are seeing. Our most successful retail partners, that's where they're focused, and it's so for us as a business, it's exactly the same thing, right? It's we've had to diversify our business. We're always looking for new partnerships. We've had to get smarter in areas where we didn't play before. We didn't really play in the back of the house a lot with our retail partners. We didn't really focus on, because it was, quite honestly, it was racking. That's all it was. It was just, racking steel by the pound and not a real sexy area of the business. But now it's operational efficiencies, it's design, layouts, it's implementation, it's the amalgamation of digital and online with hard goods, and that's a space that we are now certainly with our new partnerships, we are very proficient in, and so it's thinking the entire retail experience all the way through, from the back door right through the front door, and how it all flows together. And the retailers that aren't thinking that way are quickly going to get left behind. And we're happy that we've got partners in the right spots, and we are becoming very good at it ourselves, and so that. Again, we're a single source solution. We can do it all from the back door to the front door. So.